I'm audible?
Yeah, you're audible, ma'am. So today, having a session again with Shilpa ji on prose. So yesterday she had many things to share, but the time didn't allow us. So today we'll try to conclude everything, and we'll be happy to take your queries as well. So Shilpa ji, you may continue with the presentation, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Good morning to all of you. In the session. So I hope that justice and I, you will be happy with this session also. So before we start, I would like to quiz you all. Like you know that our today's session is on prose. So I would like to quiz you all and I would be asking you certain questions. It's basically fastest finger. What you have to do is you have to unmute yourself. You have to, show your video and then you have to answer the question. And the questions are very simple. The questions are very simple. My first question is, what is the name of the supplementary reader of class 6th? Unmute yourself and then answer. What is the name of the supplementary reader of class 6th? Unmute and answer.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
And you repeat, sir?
It so happened. I think it's supplementary reason name is it so happened.
Class 6. It so happened. Is he right?
Ma'am, a pact
Is he
with
right?
son. Ma'am, a poet with son.
A pact with sun is the correct answer. A pact with the sun is the correct answer. Thank you, Vijeta ji.
Actually, I am not teaching in 6th class.
That's why I'm quizzing you, sir. And my next question is, name the supplementary reader of class 9th.
Beehive.
Supplementary reader.
Moments.
Moments. Right. Okay. So my next question is, which is the main textbook of class 7th?
Honeycomb.
Honeycomb. Correct answer. Correct answer. Okay. My next question is, what is the main textbook of class 10th?
First
Flight.
First right. Okay. Name the supplementary reader of class 10th.
Footprints without
feet.
Footprints without feet. Okay. Okay. Chapter Bholi is from which class?
Class 10. Ma'am,
Class 10. Class 10th. Correct. And the name of the book?
Footprints without feet.
Footprints without feet. Yes, footprints without feet. Okay. Now next question is, the last question is, a game of chance. This is the chapter from which class?
And 6th class.
Class 6th. Correct answer. Correct answer. Thank you so much everyone for participating in this short quiz. It was just to grab your attention. It was not to check like whether you know the names of the books or not. And in fact, the names of the books of class 6th, 7th and 8th are confusing. Like class 6, we have honeysuckle, then we have honeycomb for class 7th and honeydew for class 8th. So I just took a short quiz. You can also take such short quizzes with your students on any topic whenever you're taking online. It just acts like an energizer and makes the session quite attractive and attentive also. I hope you liked it. Now we will move on to our session on prose. I'll be sharing my PPT. So I hope the PPT is visible.
Yes, ma'am,
Okay.
it's
Yes, ma'am.
visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Students love change. They learn better when teachers change their way of teaching. So this is a simple quote, but it wants to tell us that students also love change. So yesterday also in our previous session, we discussed various ways of teaching prose. So today I would be telling you about some more innovative ways of teaching prose so that just like the chalk and talk method, we don't use that method and we use some innovative ways. Let's move ahead. So we talked about making connections last in our last session. So text to world connection, a connection between text and something that is occurring or has occurred in the world. Text to text connection, a connection between the text and another story or text that you have read previously. Text to self connection, a connection between the text and something in your own life and experience. See, why I'm talking about these connections is because in our examination also, we get certain questions which assess these connections. In my next slide, I would be showing you one example from the sample paper of class 10th, in which text to text connection question is there. So a connection between the text from one story to a connection between a text of another story. Uh, in this question number 12, if you can see this question number 12, Natalia and Ivan argued about the ownership of Oxen Meadows and the superiority of their respective dogs in the play The Proposal. Imagine yourself as the playwright of the play. Based on your understanding of the personality traits of Natalia and Ivan, write a dialogue based on an imaginary event showcasing another argument between them. So this is there, here also some connection is made, but this is not between text to text, but in the next question. Read the extracts given below and comment on the difference in the nature of help both the characters of these stories received. So these are two characters from different stories, and we have to comment on the differences in the nature of help which they have received. So this is text to text connection. So one excerpt is given from the Black Aeroplane, and another one is given from A Letter to God. So you can read yourself. So one paragraph and one situation from both the chapters is given, and then the students are asked to connect and find differences in the nature of help which these characters have received. This is basically from the sample paper of class 10th, which CBSE has issued. This time, the pattern of question paper has changed. A lot of different kind of questions are there from the literature part in class 10th, in class 9th also. So now we will be talking about strategies for teaching prose. The first one is very simple. Guess from the title. Just write the title of the chapter on the blackboard, or just tell the students the title of the chapter and ask students, what the story can be. Like an accidental tourist. Just write the name of the chapter and ask them, what do you think will be there in the chapter? Give them prompts, ask them, and let them speak. It's not necessary that they come to the right conclusion that this is the story. They can give their varied versions, except all the versions which the students would be providing you. A letter to God. So it's a very interesting title, A Letter to God. So you can ask, have you ever written a letter to God? Or what do you think will be the in the story, A Letter to God? The necklace. So these are some of the titles of the stories of the chapters which I have written here. So you can ask the students about these titles and ask them to guess the story, guess what will be there in the story. Next is scaffolding. Scaffolding means hand holding. Our students need our assistance, our guidance. We cannot expect them to be on their own. So instead of asking, long answer questions in the beginning or short answer questions in the beginning, comprehension questions in the beginning, we can just ask them yes or no questions or either questions. Like from the chapter A Letter to God, we can ask them, did Lencho write a letter to God? So here the answer would be either yes or no. So such very simple questions can be asked to them initially, and then we can later on to different kinds of questions. So we can use thumbs up and thumbs down also. I hope you know this strategy. If you don't know, then I'll ask you one question. Uh, so did you like my session on prose, which was taken yesterday? So if you like it, you can show me thumbs up. If you did not like it, you can show thumbs down. So this is the strategy thumbs up, thumbs down. This strategy will give you instant feedback. You don't have to wait for assessment to understand that whether you understood the chapter or whether they have understood what you are teaching or not. You can ask simple questions in the class and ask them to show thumbs up, thumbs down, and in this way, you will come to know about their comprehension also. Next is we can ask them true or false questions, and true or false questions can be also simple statements, and they have to answer it in true or false. But again, you can make them, make the section interesting. You can ask them to make such cards like this is true and this is, oh my god, where's my camera, this is false. So you ask them any question and ask them to show the cards whether the statement is true, so they can show the true card, sorry, they can show the true card, and if the statement is false, they can show the false card. So such cards can be made. You can also make agree and disagree cards, like this. Agree. Any statement which you have given, students have to just show the card agree, or they have to show the card disagree. And such cards are very simple to make. You don't have to make it. Ask the students to make such agree, disagree, true and false cards, yes and no cards. And instead of just asking them, they will be just writing yes or no, or they will be just speaking yes or no, they will be showing the cards. It makes the class a lot more interactive and interesting. We can also, use activity where the students will be moving around in the classroom. You can say that one corner of the class is the agree corner and one corner is disagree corner. Whatever statement you are giving, you can ask them, the ones who agree to the statement, they can move to the agree corner, and the ones who do not agree with the statement, they can move to the disagree corner. So in such a way, the students can move around in the classroom. Any questions so far you can ask? Any questions? Okay, so can I move ahead? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you are audible, ma'am.
Okay, I cannot see the chat. That's why. Okay, so let's move ahead. So next is we can create a word bank or word wall in our classroom, and we can prepare a poster like kind of things. So whatever difficult words are there in the chapter, we can create a word wall of it, all the difficult words picked up from the chapter, and you can write it on a chart paper and paste it in the classroom. So it becomes a visual input for the students. It works as a ready reckoner. So whenever they have to answer any question, they can use the words, because you are providing them with the vocabulary which is required. So it really helps the students and boosts up their confidence. You can also provide sentence starters or beginners to students to complete their sentences. We can also use theater with the stories. And I think most of you must be doing it, asking them to prepare a role play based on the chapter. So they can, in groups, you can divide the chapter or different parts of the story. In groups, you can ask them to create their own dialogues, or you can provide them with the dialogues and then ask them to prepare a role play and enact it in the classroom. Students love theater, students love role plays, and they really enjoyed. This is a tried and tested, method in different languages like in Hindi, Sanskrit, in English. Also, we always promote uh, that students should use this theater. They should, do the role plays. So instead of giving the whole story, divide it into different parts and assign different parts of the stories to different groups. In one nutshell, the whole chapter is covered, and this will definitely help them to understand the chapter in a better way. These are the reading strategies which I have written here. So this is repeated reading. Repeat the lines, the chapter, the text few times to get a hang of stress, intonation, and punctuation, building fluency and accuracy. So first, the teacher has to model it so that students get an idea about the fluency, accuracy, punctuation, the pauses, the correct intonation, the pronunciation. So that is also very important. And then the students can be asked to repeat after you or read it. So, and always keep short term goals for accuracy and comprehension. Don't expect the students will be able to comprehend the entire lesson in one whole. Divide it into chunks and then, give them the chance to read and comprehend. Model reading, point six. It is also reading in chunks and reading in pair and practice reading a number of times. What we can do is instead of, students reading the entire lesson in one go or you listening to everyone, because it becomes very difficult. But we, as a teacher, we have to give them practice. So what we can do is you can into pairs or into groups, and then we can assign them the roles. One is a reader and one is a listener. So one child has to read, the other one has to listen. We can give different activities also. The one who is listener, he has to jot down the main points, or we can give them some questions and he has to write the answers, or just simple reading. One is reading, one is listening, then the role are reversed. The one who was listening will now be reading, and the one who was reading will be listening. So this way it will give them practice of reading, practice for the correct punctuation, pronunciation, and you can also ask them to grade your partners. You can give them a scale. A ready reckoner kind of rubrics can be given to the students, and then they have to grade the students, their partners, on a scale of 5 or 10. Let's move ahead. So this is again a pair and group work. I hope you know about KWL chart, because in poetry also Sonia ma'am discussed about this KWL chart. What I know, what I want to know, and what I have learned. You can give them one paragraph or one page of any chapter, like I've written a triumph of surgery. So any page, any paragraph is given to them, and then you can ask them to tell what they already know, or what things they knew about that chapter or about that whatever scene is there. Or we can just talk only about the words and what they want to know, which words they do not know they want to know, and which, and after the session what words they have learned. So this is a kind of a pre-reading activity, a while reading activity, and a post-reading activity in one go. So I'll show you how this is the sheet. This is a KWL chart. So what I already know is K, what I want to know, what I have learned. Give them a sheet of paper. Sheet of paper means like one page of reading, and then you can ask them the words which they already know. They have to write in the column K, the words they want to know in column second column W, and what after the session words they have learned, that will come in the column 3. So this is KWL chart. It's a very handy strategy and can be used for vocabulary building, for reading. Any way you can use it. Next is use graphic organizers. We can use a variety of graphic organizers for prose teaching. Like the first one is Freer model. I will be dealing all of them in my next slides. So I'm just reading Freer model, theme cards, flow charts, Venn diagram, mind map, timeline. So these are different organizers which you can use for teaching prose. And in fact, these graphic organizers can be used for teaching other topics also. Like you can use them for teaching grammar also, and for other vocabulary building exercises also. So first we will move on to Freer model. This is Freer model. So in Freer model, the vocabulary which you want to reinforce, the vocabulary word which you want to reinforce will come in the center. So where I have written word, the word will come in the center. Then you have four columns. So in the first column, it is the meaning. The next column, it is use in sentence, then synonym, and then antonym. So this is a basic, structure for vocabulary building. Fair model can be used in variety of ways. This is not the only way. A fair model is a basically a kind of graphic organizer, a strategy to teach anything. Like it can be used for science also, for mathematics also, for social studies also, for grammar also. But here I am giving you example for the text purpose, for vocabulary building. The text from the words from our text. Like I have given you one example here, conquer. The word is there, conquer. It is taken from the text. So what you will ask the students is, you will ask them to write the meaning in one column. So they have written the meaning to succeed in dealing with a strong feeling or problem. The next column says use the word in a sentence. I conquered my fear. So this is a sentence. Then the antonym of conquer, that is overcome. And in the next column, oh sorry, synonym of the word conquer. And in the next column, it is the antonym, like fail. So this is the basic structure of prayer model. Like if you have to use it for grammar, so where I have written word, you can write noun, and you can ask them, give the definition of noun. You make a diagram of any noun, give example of noun, and in one column give types of noun. So anyway you can use this Freer model. It's a way of, it's basically visual learning, how you are visualizing your learning. Next we move to theme cards. Theme cards is again, you can prepare such theme cards for any chapter, for any story, and you can provide it to the students in groups. You can ask them. So you can see there are different columns here: name of characters, appearance, qualities, role, problem faced, if any. So these are the different columns. So what the students have to do is, in groups, you can ask them to write the name of the characters of the story. Whatever characters were coming in the story, you ask them to write the characters. Now the appearance, because in the story, in the chapter, the writer has also given some description about their appearances. So you can ask them to write whatever description is given about their appearance. Sometimes the age is given, sometimes the year of birth is given. So whatever information is given, they can write it here, and they can write about their age or any other things. Like in that chapter necklace, Madame Loisel is explained, like earlier how she was and later on how she appeared. Then the next column is qualities. Whatever quality of that character is given, that the students can handpick and write it in this quality column. And the role they played, like one in the chapter Bholi, one is the teacher, she's the teacher of Bholi, one is a father of Bholi, mother of Bholi. So the whatever role they are playing, so they are, looking for a groom for Bholi, whatever role they are playing in the chapter, that can happen. And problem faced, if any problem faced by that character, that can be written in this column. So there can be different theme cards. This is one example. Such examples of theme cards available on the net, or prepare on your own. In this, the whole chapter will be summarized. So again, it's a graphic organizer. Graphically, you are organizing your whole lesson. So this will also give you an idea. This is Venn diagram. session also I gave you one idea like how we can compare different characters from different stories. We can compare or contrast characters from the same chapter also from different chapters also. Here I have contrasted Valli and Bholi. So two different characters. So in the center of the Venn diagram is this area is the common area. Just a second. This is This is common area, which is talking about the similarities. And then we have here in the other columns, we have differences between Wali and the differences. The difference in the character means they're unique characteristics. It is just an example. You can put in more characteristics. If any one of you can suggest any other characteristic, then please let me know. Like you can unmute yourself and you can tell me any other characteristic which you think will be the similarity or difference. Please unmute yourself and let me know.
Lomo and Chubuko from 10th class, the proposal.
Just a second.
I think was the connection. Hello, Shilpa ma'am. Everything fine?
Hanji ma'am, I'm back.
Okay.
Okay. So yes, you were giving me examples. So which characters can we take for this Venn diagram?
Lomo and Chubuko from the proposal.
No. Yes. Good example. Any other example which we can take? Any other example? From same story or from different text? Any characters which we can compare and contrast? Like one I have shown you in the sample paper. One was Lencho, one was think about it. And because why I'm asking you to think about it, because if you will think about it and brainstorm, then only you would be able to give such examples to your students and you will ask them to brainstorm. So this is very important that we think about such similarities and contrasts between different characters from different stories. It will basically help in developing the critical thinking skills. So let us move ahead to our PPT and let us see different other examples. So this is a mind map. Basically, this is another strategy, a mind map. We know the chapter. Can you tell me the name of the chapter? Tell me the name of this chapter, if you can identify the chapter. Unmute yourself and please tell me the name of the chapter.
The Lost Child.
The lost child, correct. And the lost child from class 9. So this is basically a mind map where the things that attracted the child at fair. So these are the different things that attracted the child at fair are written in a mind map kind of. So mind map is a wonderful strategy to summarize any lesson, any character. You can do the character sketching. You can summarize your after separating from his parents. I'll show you one more mind map you can see on the screen. This is a mind map of the king. So students were given in groups. They were given the picture of the king and they were asked to, write whatever characteristics they feel for the king. So this is a mind map created by the students. So different characters and different mind maps can be done. This is the timeline basically. A timeline is basically you are summarizing. Am I audible or any problem with the connection? Okay, audible. Okay, good. So here, this is the timeline. In timeline, you are basically telling the different time frames of the different situations or the important events of any story. So any story can be summarized in form of timeline and in flow charts also. Yesterday, I gave you example of tsunami where we had summarized the whole text in a flow chart. So flow charts are also very handy. Whole lesson can be summarized if you have a worksheet new master. The whole lesson is summarized in form of a flow chart. Now we come to assessment. How to assess students? Like we have taught them the prose, the lesson, the chapter. So what are the different ways of assessment? So we can use simple worksheets with close, gap filling, true and false, multiple choice, matching exercises. Such examples can be given to students. I hope you must be using it also. Different types of questions basically. And initially we can ask one word or one phrase questions to the students, and from there we can move on to the short answer question, long answer questions. So like which country did Vanda belong to? What made Griffin remove his clothes? Simple questions in one word or one phrase. Such questions are there. Then we can ask close-ended questions, WH family questions, who, what, when. And one more thing, like always tell the meaning of WH words to your students. It has been seen that students do not know the meaning of WH words. They don't know what do you mean by what do you mean by when, why. So the meaning of these words should be clear to the students. The WH words, what, when, where, why, how. Such words should be clear to them so that they know what they are supposed to answer when the question is being asked to them. So did Lencho receive 100 pesos? So these are different questions. Then think, pair, share activities can be given to the students. You can ask them, give them certain questions. Like this is a question from the hack driver. Why did the young lawyer think of fleeing away to his hometown? Give them the question, ask them to discuss in their groups, and then come up with conclusion. See, we are having in our 10th class question paper, 9th class question paper, we have questions for 5 marks, value based questions, global inference questions. So for such questions, this is very important that students think, pair, and share in their own groups. They discuss in their groups the various aspects, why this thing happened, and then they come up to the conclusion. Then this is HOTS for the text, high order thinking skills, which will help in developing the critical thinking skills of the student. So you can choose one character from one story and one from the other text. Write a letter of advice from one to other, illustrating your knowledge about each of them. So writing a letter, like one character is writing a letter to another character, or we can also take one character is writing a letter to another character from the same text. Like in one question in Natalian that the proposal which I showed you, they have to create dialogues. So these are higher order thinking skills. So such questions are also coming in the examination. So we have to give them practice for such questions also. Imagine that a character from one of the stories appeared in another text. How will he contribute or change the plot? So this can be for think, pair, and share activities. In groups, they have to come up with such answers. What would happen if the writer of one story had a chance to talk with another about their stories? What would they say? What would they say? Write the conversation, create dialogues, create a role play. So such questions can be given to students for practice. This is I don't know if you are able to see or not. You can see it. This is from the sample paper of class 10th. The structure of the question paper has changed. So these are the kind of questions which we are now getting from the prose. I'll just read the question statements. One paragraph from the chapter Madam Rides the Bus, Wali, was given. And now the question is, I'll just read the questions, not the options. How did Wali feel when elderly man expressed concern that she was standing? So this is one understanding. Next question. Choose the option that lists the set of statements that are not true according to the given extract. So statements, 7 statements are given, and students have to identify the statements that are not true. Then next is 4 people talking and in the pictures they are given some statements, and the student has to tell which one is a fact, which one is an opinion. So the meaning between the difference between fact and opinion should also be clear to the students. Next is, which word does chimed in not correspond to? So they're not asking, tell the meaning of this word, tell the opposite or antonym, synonym. Which word does this word not correspond to? So in this way, they are giving the examples. Next is, choose the characteristic displayed by the conductor when he addressed Vali and declared that she could not be a mere girl. So the one statement from the paragraph is given, and then you have to tell which characteristic trait is displayed. So this is a little confusing. So that means in-depth understanding of the prose is required now. The students have to understand the prose, the chapters very deeply so that they are able to answer such questions. So this is again from the sample paper. You can see the sample paper of CBSE from the CBSE site. So textbooks can be, used for developing critical thinking skills. I have shared a lot of examples with you, like for questioning techniques, analysis, interpretation of facts and events, evaluate the facts critically, use of graphic organizers. So this is how we can develop critical thinking skills. Like critical thinking is very must in these days. So we can use the prose, we can use the textbook for things. We can be creative, and you can give them examples to like create your own character. Tilly in Tsunami, this character is not properly explained, so you can ask students to create this character Tilly from the Tsunami. Create a setting, Ishwaran the storyteller, so ask them to create the settings. So what will be the settings all about? Story map can be asked, students can be asked to create story maps. Cartoon strip, Aditi ma'am explained you how to create cartoons. So cartoon strips can be created from the story. They can be asked to create dialogues. So such different activities can also be taken. So with this, I come to an end to my presentation, and I would like all of you to, give any kind of feedback if you want to give any questions, any queries. If you want to, ask anything related to the presentation, related to prose, and how was the session, so that we can sum up in another 1 or 2 minutes. Any one of you, any questions, any queries?
Ma'am, voice is very feeble, not audible.
Oh, sir, this feedback you should have given me a little earlier. Any other feedback? Any other queries? I don't want feedback. I basically want to address your queries. Any queries, if you have, you can please ask me.
Even I
And
want to
if not, then
here, Shilpa ma'am.
yes.
This is for the participants. If you face any kind of problem while teaching prose, because nowadays we are having virtual sessions, but in the class you must have faced some problems, so you can put your problems here. We'll try to give the solution of that problem.
Right. So thank you, all of you. I think no such queries. I hope I was able to, give you a lot of strategies, innovative ways teach your prose. I hope we brainstorm a lot of things, and we got an idea how a particular text can be, dealt with in a classroom in different ways. In the end, I would just like to say, don't take the text in isolation. We should not teach the text in isolation. It is basically literature is for teaching the students language. So all the skills should be integrated with the text. Reading, writing, speaking, listening, everything, integrate everything, even grammar, vocabulary, everything with the text. so that we are able to, develop their language. So with this, I end my session. Thank you all of you for being so wonderful, and it was an interactive session. You all were giving your inputs.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
all of you.
Thank you so much, Shilpa ma'am. And even I really appreciate your efforts because it was very informative and very innovative strategy to share. Because we always take prose as a boring content. It's a boring, boring honor. So you had really very good and innovative practices. So I'm sure that my participants have much to take home. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Shilpa ji. Now we have a break, lunch break of half
Thank
an hour.